Women Wednesdays. Women Wednesdays.
On TFM 95.4.
And I'm now trying to find the connection with the Queen of the Wahibas. Who is she?
Women Wednesdays. Women Wednesdays.
On TFM 95.4.
To be honest, another lady that I know for decades, or should I say at least a decade. It's been a long time since we've known each other. Her name is Rebecca Mayston. I call her the Queen of the Wahibas. In the Bedu, in the desert, they call her Ruqayya. How you doing?
Hi, Fahmi. Great to catch up again.
Yeah, of course. Should I call you Rebecca or Ruqayya?
Either works. Either works.
Oh, Your Majesty.
Let's just stick with Rebecca or
Okay,
Ruqayya.
all right, Rebecca. You are in the studios. Thank you very much for coming over here on Women Wednesdays. You are doing something completely extraordinary. Apart from being a woman driving in the Wahibas with all the men out there and completely making them eat your dust, you are training many bunch of ladies out there to actually traverse the adventure of the dunes and get to know it and be at one with it. So you're adding a whole new flavor to their lives. How do you do? Welcome to the studio. And how do you feel about doing that? That is an awesome legacy. You're a legend that is living.
Thank you, Fahmi. It's certainly something that I've been determined to spread and share the love with.
Yeah.
From that first trip, I had the buzz, so I figured, hey,
Okay.
other women have got to enjoy it, right?
Now that you said it, we're going to get straight into it. First trip, when was that?
Well, my first trip was back in 2009 when I first joined Guide Oman, and I was...
See what I mean? Almost a decade.
Yeah. I'm glad you corrected it to just one decade.
Yeah.
Though. I started getting a bit worried when you talked about knowing me for decades. I was getting a bit worried about how old everybody thinks I am.
Okay.
But yeah, my first trip was back in 2009, and I absolutely loved it. I was terrified.
Okay, I don't know how to ask this question, but how did a Caucasian lady from New Zealand even start with the empty desert and come to Oman and become good at it?
Well, determination sets free, but...
You talk about the barren desert and the sun and you say determination.
Exactly. And I come from a country with absolutely zero desert. Zero sand desert, I must say. We do have a desert, but it's a volcanic sort of terrain.
Okay.
I headed out travelling and exploring the world, as a lot of Kiwis and Aussies do when we reach a certain age. And one of those stops was actually to visit Oman.
It started as a visit.
It started
like
as a visit.
everybody else, and then you fall in love.
And then I fell in love with Oman, and I was determined to stay and explore and experience the country.
I mean, a normal person falling in love in Oman, get a job in the city, or gets to be a tourist person, or even just marry somebody here. You just went and married the desert.
Yeah, but my mother and father would be quite amused at you saying that, because they have very amusing stories of taking their little girl at 3 years old to the zoo for the first time, who was not remotely interested in any animal at the zoo until we came across the camels. So maybe there was something there.
It was just meant to be.
Past life, I was a Bedouin or something. Obsessed with camels from a young age, and now I'm here enjoying them.
Well, since you mentioned Bedouin and all of these things, you completely rock in the desert. They all know you by your first name. We're going to get straight into that and more stories from Rebecca Mayston about how she got to know the desert. In the meantime, I got some Incubus dedicated to Rebecca.
Cool.
With Drive. Let's hit
drive.
it. Welcome to TFM 95.4. My name is Fahmi. This is Urban Pulse on specifically Women Wednesdays, and I have... Ms. Rebecca Mayston in the studios.
Oh la la, we're getting fancy with these titles.
Somebody's laughing like
you're making me blush.
Yeah, like your mom in New Zealand. Hi, Mom. Say hi to her, man. She deserves
Hi,
it.
Mom.
Yeah.
Hi, Dad.
Awesome.
I think you're still up awake listening.
Yeah, and to all your friends, of course.
And to all the friends,
they're
exactly.
listening and giggling.
And the colleagues at the office, they're all sitting there listening to the radio instead of working hard.
Yeah,
what to do.
Well, since 2009, you got softer as a boss and you made a lot of friends and you became the queen of the Wahibas. So you got in here. You loved camels as a baby, as a kid with your parents. So thanks, Mom, for that. Somehow she found some love in there. And when she came to Oman, what led you to the desert?
Well, I came across to Oman, of course, as a tourist, as you know, and just something about Oman sparked in me. So I was determined to find a job, and it was a lot of hunting and scouring, and actually met Muhammad Isa with Guide Oman through his wife.
Guide Oman existed before you?
Only just.
Okay.
Only just. So I was involved with a dress project, which was very interesting for me.
A dress as in
my Omani dress.
A dress?
Traditional Omani dress. Researching, preserving, and documenting the national dress. And
Interesting project.
My background is partially that, so I loved it. You know, traditional Omani dress is very beautifully colourful and vibrant on the landscape. And through Julia, I met Muhammad Isa, and we got chatting about desert and about his aspirations for the business. And being the Kiwi girl that I am, I thought, okay, give it a go. I've never been to a desert before.
I am the right girl for the job. People are like,
Yep.
wait. You just said it.
Hey,
right girl. I think that's wrong.
Never been to desert, never driven a four-wheel drive before, never been off-roading before. I'm not quite sure what I was thinking.
But,
you
courageous.
know, give it a go, right?
All right. From that point on, tell us how it went.
So I joined in with Guide Oman back in 2009 and was absolutely terrified beyond belief for my first desert crossing. It was a very scary experience. It was off into the unknown. And
it always is scary in the beginning.
Well, it is. And, you know, I really respect the guys now for pushing me into a car to drive myself. They gave me 2 guests for the weekend.
You were thrown into the deep end?
I was thrown into the deep end. But, you know, without being thrown into the deep end, I wouldn't have that same empathy for what first-timers go through. You know, if I had gone as a passenger, I wouldn't have had to worry about where I was going and how I was going to find it and how I was going to get over these sand dunes in a big, heavy four-wheel drive that just doesn't seem to be feasible to be going through really soft sinking sand.
I mean, I'm glad you actually said that empathy, the feeling of the people for the first time. After we come back, we're going to talk about these tutorials that you managed to teach them on. Seriously, it's not very easy to teach somebody how to drive, and specifically females.
Yes, absolutely.
Please, nobody take any notes from what I just said in there. Gender equality all the way. Right now, we got Shut Up and Drive, Rihanna. I need to change that. I want to be like most girls. People might think it's just me. All right, Rebecca, tutorials, females, tutorials, people who go into the desert for the first time, challenges. How do you have that much patience? And money, because vehicles will get destroyed.
The desert definitely teaches you patience, and over the years I've learnt a lot of patience. Without patience, you'll be having a lot of difficulties.
Well, the best patience comes from mothers, so Mama Rebecca.
Maybe that's true, Mama Rebecca.
Did anybody ever call you Mama?
Yes, actually, there are 2 gorgeous little boys who were actually with us in the desert last weekend, Shaka's sons, Muhammad and Mohammed.
Okay.
And yeah, they constantly are calling me Mama Rebecca, so much so that they came up to me actually at the recent Jeep launch begging me, please Mama Rebecca, speak to Baba, we want to come to the desert, please.
That's awesome. What a sweet story. Okay, so the challenge is, how old do you have to be?
We don't have age limits for the desert crossings. The oldest that we've had is 94 years old. So those who think that they are too old, that is nonsense. And the youngest we've
94
had...
male, female?
Was female, actually.
Wow.
Yeah, and the youngest female was, I think she was 15 months. It was just before I came along.
Female range top and bottom, 15 months to 94.
Absolutely.
Wow.
See, women are taking over.
Yeah, specifically on Women Wednesdays.
Exactly. We've got a theme there, so we've got to stick with it.
Right on, sisters. Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, we don't set the age limit, and I honestly believe that parents know their children better than we do. And, for example, my first camping trip was when I was 3 months old. So I grew up being used to...
Do you remember it, or they told you that?
They told me that, and I've seen photos, you know, of this cute little bassinet.
Just checking, what kind of memory do you have?
Well, yeah.
It's like super baby.
I like to think I've got a fantastic memory, but maybe the sand is impacting that nowadays.
Okay.
But, you know, if you as a child have grown up camping and off-roading, then there's no reason why youngsters don't come out there, and they have a fabulous time. What
Absolutely.
a great playground. They can run and build sand castles and slide and roll down the sand dunes. Mohammed loved
The car itself is a roller coaster.
Well, exactly, the roller coaster. Every time we had a vehicle stuck on the last weekend, Mohammed actually came to me and said, please can I have the little driver education car, which I actually brought into the studio with us, which I know seems funny because we're on air.
Yeah.
I know that there is a video being made. So You'll be able to see that on the video. And this little car is what we use for the driver education sessions.
Yeah.
So, of course,
there's special moments when Mama Rebecca steps up and explains how to handle the desert.
And that's a really important part of the trip, because whether you think you are or you're you are is another thing. Desert driving is a skill, and you do need to make sure that you know the techniques, the safety, and all of those aspects. So all of our desert crossings start with a full driver education session and a safety briefing. We talk about things like why we deflate tires to increase traction, and why it's very important to wear seatbelts, why gravity.
Good. I like that this aspect of safety is involved in this, but I have questions on the marketing side of this, and we are going to get into that after this song. You know what it is?
I can't remember which one we
selected. It's another song to do with drive.
I have a feeling it's driving.
Yeah, it's got to do with driving.
It's got to be with driving women crazy.
No, it's Duke Dumont and Ocean's Drive right here on TFM. Enjoy. We'll be back right after this. How you guys doing? My name is Fahmi. Welcome to TFM. I got Rebecca Mayston here in the studios. She's talking about how she conquered the Wahibas and how she got a lot of people to come and enjoy the ride. The marketing side of it. The concept of going to the desert at that time was very alien. Only few people were doing it. How did you get it out there? Now it's just common camping.
It was definitely a little bit of a club with the guys who were just getting out there and having a little bit of fun. So it was an interesting concept to start marketing. And I must say, once we started getting the message out there, social media was a huge buzz for us, and word of mouth.
Oh, I just remembered something. I wonder how you got on social media.
I wonder how we got Instagram started.
Oh, you can tell them.
Oh,
it's a little pride moment. I just remember.
Whoever would inspire us to do such a thing.
If y'all don't realize it, yeah, I kind of recommended it. Thank you. Okay.
So, you know, from the beginning, I got on board with Guide Oman, and after that first desert crossing, I left with a real buzz. I had that addiction, even after just one weekend. And I did make the comment to the guys that, hey, you know what? We need to do a ladies' trip. And initially it was met with a little bit of, yeah, right.
You don't even have four-wheel drives at that time. Yeah, I mean, right now you see ladies driving Mustangs and heavy cars and because of the Fast and Furious influence, and some of them driving Jeeps and getting out there. But at that time, you didn't get that.
Well, even four-wheel drives, you know, there wasn't a huge volume of interest in heading out to the desert.
Yeah.
And the trip started growing. I mean, back in that first year, we did 6 desert crossings. And nowadays, we do 16 public events. So this weekend, we've got a private one. We do the annual Jeep Jamboree. There's a lot of action that we have out in the desert. And having that social media and the marketing and getting the buzz behind the ladies' desert crossing has been a huge influencer. Talking to people, inspiring people. And I think the biggest thing is building confidence in people that they can get out there and conquer it. Hey, do you know what? You're a beginner. So what?
Okay,
we'll teach you.
If they want to come out and conquer it, what do they have to do?
So they need to get in touch with us. So you can find us on social media, Facebook or Instagram, Guide Oman.
That's the best way of getting hold of you.
That's the best way. Or email us at info@theguideoman.com.
It's Guide Oman, wherever it is, the Guide Oman.
The Guide Oman.
All platforms, including email.
Yeah, okay. Absolutely. So you can buzz us on there, and we'll send you out the calendar. We've got a calendar published right the way through until early April, including details of the ladies' trip, which is next weekend, girls. Grab your four-wheel drives and get out into the desert. And we will register you. We need to know who you are and what your car is and all those sort of details. And then we help to encourage you to and get you ready for the trip.
How does this work out? Is this charged per person? Is this charged per car?
It's charged per person. So for the ladies' trip, it's 35 Rial, and people will ask, why is it cheaper? It's because it's only one night. The classic desert crossings that we do is 2 nights, which is 45 Rial per person.
This is generally for everybody, and what do they get in return?
So they
I mean, I want to make sure I get my comfort, my tent, my this. I'm spoiled.
Always the big question.
Yeah.
So the main thing that the charge covers is not only coming out and joining with yours truly and the wonderful Guide Oman team, but you get all of your meals. So we have a full catering crew that serve delicious buffet
I love
meals
your food
out
truck.
in the desert.
Oh,
They do a great week long.
I love how
in the
hot.
center of the desert.
Yeah, I love how hot the food is when it's served. It's like proper, straight out of the kitchen. It's not like
It
cold
is
food that has
cooked
been
fresh.
stored.
Yeah.
That's the best part, and everybody just starts coming alive for in the evening and at night. It's a whole
Absolutely.
other environment and feeling.
Yeah.
Okay.
You have the buzz of during the day and then the buzz at night around the campfire.
Absolutely. When I come back, I'm going to ask Rebecca, what was her biggest crowd, and what about women? How do you train them? How's their reaction, and who are better drivers, men or women in the desert? We will find that out soon from Rebecca, who drives her crazy. On that note, find Young Cannibals. There's no with Fahmi. Okay, so Rebecca Mayston, the queen of the Wahibas, right over here, known to the Bedouins in the desert as Ruqayya. I mean, if you have a Caucasian woman getting to be known by people in the desert and they would care for her more than you, the man, she has done something huge. And the other huge thing was getting the culture of ladies to actually start traversing and challenging the desert and the dunes, marketing, word of mouth, and everything like that. Now, so you've trained both men and women. The mic is yours. I'm not even going to ask the question.
That's right, both men and women. So, as you know, we have the regular schedules of trips, but I had that quiet determination that we would start the ladies' trips.
Okay.
And I must say that the first year, with very quiet
What was the first year?
trepidation, what was it, 6 years ago?
Okay.
What was the maths?
We're
You did it.
2018, 2012.
Yeah, 2012, we had the first ladies crossing, and we had 11 ladies, including me, 9 different nationalities who headed out on the trip. So it was
Nice.
a really tiny group.
Yeah.
And everybody was just as nervous as each other, including me, because I had to create the track. First time for
They
everyone.
came with their own cars?
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And they came to learn how to drive in the desert.
None of them even had a single experience?
Zero experience.
Tell me about that then. That's like a headache. That's like patience. That's like, oh my God, I'm going to pull my hair out from that.
Well, that is actually where we are very thankful for our very amazing and lovely 3R crew.
Yeah.
And if they are listening, thank you. You are amazing, and you are
What is a
make
3-hour crew?
The 3R crew are the ones
Hour,
who...
as in our time, or hour as in me, you, our, us?
No, the 3R, the letter R.
R.
Not for Rebecca
3R.
Ruqayya. It
Okay.
actually stands for Rescue, Recovery and Remedy.
Nice breakdown. Okay.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So they are the crew of people who keep us safe, keep us moving, keep us happy, smiling. Maybe you just need a pep talk. Maybe you need a tire fixed. Maybe you need to be winched or pulled or pushed. They're the crew that keep us moving, and they are the essential part, because reality is, if you're not getting stuck, you're not in the desert. It's part of it. And that's where you need to learn a lot of patience for yourself, because yes, it may become testing and trying to be getting stuck time and time again, but you are learning.
Yeah.
And you're learning that process, and eventually you get the hang of how your vehicle is reacting, and you have that buzz from being able to accomplish the sand dunes.
So is your 3R team all male or all female, or half and half?
They are all male, except for our beloved nurse Debbie,
Okay.
who is there. She keeps us all...
So does that answer the question of who's the better driver in the desert?
no, it doesn't. I don't think it does at all.
Okay, elaborate. You train them all. Tell me what you think.
Absolutely.
I mean, for sure, I'm seeing the best woman right now in Oman who drives in the desert.
Well, hey,
so
I'm the
that
one who
also
teaches
says it
everyone.
all.
So does that say something, Fahmi?
Yeah,
I mean,
experienced and the best who happens to be
Yeah.
a female.
Yeah.
But
And I'm
still,
sure
the question is still out there.
I'm sure let's give it time, and we'll have a lot more women crew in there. Debbie and I both have our own Jeeps. We both drive. We both do the recoveries. And I know she proudly, at the end of each weekend, declares in front of the guys, hey, I fixed this many tires this weekend.
Okay.
So, it's coming.
It's coming, but what is the answer right now?
Women are better drivers than men. Come on.
On
Without
that
a doubt.
note, I'm going to play the next song, which is Hips Don't Lie. And Rebecca's hips don't lie when she drives.
Oh, my gosh.
She wants to be like most girls. I'm sure a lot of people out there want to be like most women like you, Rebecca, the queen of the Wahibas. Now, we spoke about a lot of stuff here, the tutorials, who's better when men or women, the women coming over, how you actually started desert driving and camping here in Oman, which is quite interesting. But we have to give a shout out to Muhammad Isa. I mean, end of the day,
Absolutely.
It's his
This is-
baby.
this
It
is
had
his
to start
baby.
somewhere.
This is his passion.
Somebody had an idea. You were the implementer, which is still a lot of hard work, by the way.
Somebody has to do the office work.
Yeah, the admin.
Muhammad just wants to drive and have fun.
Is your office your car, or do you have an office?
I do have a physical office.
Okay.
But yeah, that would be a bit debatable as to, it's probably a 50-50 split actually between my time spent sitting at my desk and the time spent sitting in my Jeep.
I mean, it's a stupid question. Which one do you prefer?
Look, my Jeep has taken me all over Oman, incredible destinations.
With so many people, including Prince Charles. Yeah, I know that story.
With so many incredible people as well. So, I mean, how can you not love an office that is moving and always has an incredible destination scenery outside the front window?
And a constant tan.
Well, there you go.
To the Maystons back in New Zealand, yeah, she's getting darker and darker every day.
Suntan.
Okay, so what is the future? What does the future have in hold?
Well, look, the future is to keep growing, keep increasing the awareness.
You're being
and
vague.
I'm getting there. I'm getting there.
Okay.
We are growing. We've got lots of plans to involve a lot more people and their jeeps out into the sand dunes. We not only conquer through Shakir Desert now, but we also cross Ribble Khali. And Muhammad Isa has
The empty quarter, by the way, to anybody.
empty quarter, and that is
which I would
the
love
real
to, by the way, come with you on that one.
Well, we've
That's
start
in
those,
November, December.
End of October is the first trip.
End of October.
Yeah. So from October.
I'm
through-
busy emceeing.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we'll figure it out.
How about November or maybe December or January, February?
There's a lot of international events coming over, so we'll figure out what we'll do. I'll try.
We'll fix the schedule.
I'll
We've
let
got
my
the
people
calendar.
talk to your people, and then
We've got the calendar published. I'm sure we can work your routine around our schedule,
All
and
right.
we'll get you out into Ribble Khali.
Okay, so Rebecca Khali, the Sharqiyya.
We've got the Ladies Drive coming up next weekend, which is actually number 6 Ladies Desert Crossing.
That's
And-
where our social media team and the ladies of this department are coming over with you.
Absolutely,
Ooh, it's gonna be fun.
absolutely.
Follow that on social media, guys. Times of Oman.
Exactly. If ladies are curious about that,
Yeah.
you can pop down to Dhofar Automotive on the 2nd of October at 7 p.m. We're going to have a little bit of a ladies' evening with Jeep down there, and we're going to be talking about the ladies' trip. So you can come down and meet me in person and say hello and learn more about the ladies' trip if you want to.
Or you may communicate with Sana on Times of
Yeah,
Oman,
there you go.
direct message, and she'll give you all the details.
Exactly.
All right, so are there any chances sports tourism bringing like international desert sports like Paris Dakar? We do Salalah Muscat, or I don't know what, or Salalah Kuwait. I don't know.
Those trips would be pretty incredible.
Yeah, start something from here
At,
all the way.
actually, at the end of November, Muhammad Isa is wanting to conquer a completely different terrain. Normally, we just go into one little area in Ribble Khali. And of course, a lot of you, if you have been following Guide Oman, would have seen that, I think it was last year, Muhammad Isa and the guys all went down and conquered the top of the tallest sand dune, which is down in Mayteen, down on the Yemen border. So there is a strong plan in place to cover from Makshin down to Maytun and through the desert.
You see, that's why
So
she's
big
the,
adventures,
that's why she's the
you know?
queen of the desert. She knows names we never even heard of.
Yeah.
What did you say?
Fun.
Makan to Makam?
Makshin? now I'm pronouncing them
Yeah.
wrong. Makshin to Maytun.
All right, awesome. I wish you all the best. The desert is your house. Guide of Oman is your house. Make sure you follow. One second, y'all. All right, as I'm talking to you guys, my social media person of the studio is talking to us, as in TFM, the social media. She's saying, make sure you follow our social media accounts, Times of Oman, to find out what's going on.
And Guide Oman.
And Guide Oman, of course. The Guide Oman, right? Or Guide Oman?
On Instagram, it's Guide Oman.
As Guide Oman, okay? We're also going to be dropping out the video of this interview, so make sure you see my beautiful face. Hey, because I got a face for the radio. All right, so as I was saying, the desert is Rebecca's house. The Jeep is Rebecca's Rebecca's house. So you guys want to get into Rebecca's house. She's an awesome host, the queen of whatever you're going to have that weekend. So make sure you do it. It is an experience and is worth it. I've been on with her 3 times, I think, or twice.
Yeah.
We had a blast. It was fantastic, shocking, surprising, entertaining. You learn something new about yourself. And on that note, I'm just going to say, keep on pulsing. This is My House by Flo Rida. I've just been through Rebecca's house. Bye.
Come on, let's talk.